Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Monsoon session in the Parliament has begun and the word crypto is echoing loud this time. And there will be a lot of updates, explainers and discussions around it in today's episode. This is Coffee and Crypto. I'm Arun Singh. Let's begin with big stories of the week. Ministry of Commerce and Industry said that the government doesn't maintain information on the exit of crypto startups in India. This was in response to Rajya Sabha MP TMC's Derek O'Brien's question if the government had taken note of crypto startups exiting the country, its details and reasons and its impacts on the economy. This is asked as we've seen a few exchanges moving their base from India to Dubai in past few months after the new crypto tax regime and some other rules and regulations as well. Moving on to the next story, on the first day of monsoon session of the Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman reiterated that the centre would need international collaboration before implementing any legislation on cryptocurrencies. She was answering queries on the regulation of cryptocurrencies and RBI's stand on crypto in the Lok Sabha, and in her reply she said that the Reserve Bank of India believes that cryptocurrencies should be completely banned. We'll of course talk about this in detail a little later, but moving on to the next story, which is about Tesla. The electric car manufacturer Tesla Inc. sold a significant chunk of its stake in Bitcoin. Tesla in a shareholder letter said, as of the end of Q2, we have converted approximately 75% of our Bitcoin purchases into fiat currency. They had disclosed in February 2021 that they had invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and subsequently sold 10% of its stake that April. The digital assets have shrunk to $218 million and that a Bitcoin impairment hurt second quarter profitability. Moving on to the next and last story, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has thanked the Shiba Inu community for helping make his PhD fellowship fund a reality. Shiba Inu's anonymous developers last year gifted Vitalik Buterin a load of SHIB tokens, which he's using to fund the Vitalik Buterin PhD fellowship in AI existential safety. The grant is for students starting programs in 2022 in the US, UK or Canada. He tweeted, "Big thanks to the Shiba Inu community whose cryptocurrency made these fellowships possible." Last year, he had also announced donation of $1.14 billion in meme coins to COVID-hit India. Now, we'll talk about the big headline of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman commenting on crypto. And for that, we'll go to Coffee Wall. Indian Parliament monsoon session started on 18th of July and a Lok Sabha MP asked Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman some questions which majorly focused on RBI's stance on crypto. What was her response? Finance Minister said that RBI has expressed concerns about the destabilizing effect of cryptocurrencies on the monetary and fiscal stability of a country and has recommended for framing of legislation for cryptocurrency market. Now, what became the headline was that she said RBI is of the view that cryptocurrencies should be banned. But she also talked about international collaboration on this. Cryptocurrencies are by definition borderless and require international collaboration to prevent regulatory arbitrage. Therefore, any legislation for regulation or for banning can be effective only after significant international collaboration on evaluation of the risks and benefits and evolution of common taxonomy and standards, unquote. So definitely the speculation remains the same as to what is the government aiming to do. Before the introduction of any bill, there would be a crypto consultation paper as well, which is currently awaited. Last month in the Central Bank's Financial Stability Report, the RBI Governor Shaktikant Das had said, we must be mindful of the emerging risks on the horizon. Cryptocurrencies are a clear danger. Anything that derives value based on make-believe without any underlying is just speculation under a sophisticated name. So on one hand, government in the budget of 2022 said that flat 30% will be levied on gains from cryptocurrencies, and from 1st July 2022, 1% TDS is deducted on transfer of VDAs. And on the other hand, it is reiterating the stance of RBI wanting to ban the cryptocurrencies in its entirety. Crypto exchanges also had to withdraw usage of UPI in April after National Payments Corporation of India, that's NPCI, issued a statement. Now, to discuss this further, we have with us Dr. Aruna Sharma, practitioner, development economist, former member RBI Digitization Committee. A very warm welcome, Dr. Sharma. My first question has to be your initial reaction. Now, there are two parts of her statement. One, she talks about the global coordination, and second, the RBI part of it, where she says that RBI wants it to be banned. So, what would be your initial reaction?
Absolutely. I think that everything is at status quo of what we were a couple of months back. The RBI's apprehension that it will have a destabilizing effect on the monetary and fiscal stability, and therefore it should be banned. The Supreme Court has made it very clear that ban is not the answer. So that is written off. But then their apprehensions are still not addressed or not able to convince RBI that their apprehensions, there could be an answer. And if you look at her second statement of going global or having international collaborations for regulating the digital currencies, then yes, because it is completely borderless and the RBI's apprehension is more on cross-border transactions that may happen.
Sure.
So therefore, if you look at it, we seems to be standing where we were, where absolutely no further steps we have taken, and its long awaited draft policy on crypto is still, it's not in print for people to react. And equally important is that if you look at it, the taxation route has been adopted. So heavy taxation, whether it is a disruptor, whether it is a facilitator, is a problem.
Okay.
And still we have not defined what we mean by crypto, whether it is asset, commodity or something else. And that's why if I look at the RBI statement made by the finance minister, that confusion still stands in the policy making.
Of course, and these are some very strong words. As soon as there's a term ban in someone's statement, everybody gets scared. So will we be jumping the gun if we say a ban is near?
I don't think so. It will be very wise to go for jumping the gun, because what are the reasons for jumping the gun? You can say, okay, internationally two negative developments have taken place. One, the upheavals which has happened, and because of the inflation, the value of cryptos have come down drastically, but it has happened for every speculative market. So whether it is mutual fund, whether it is equities, stock shares, or whatever it is happening. Now, high gain is high loss. So yes, crypto had very high gain, so there was a very high loss. There has been a recovery in the last week in many of the cryptos. And you do have the second reason is many of the cryptos who have suspended their trade, therefore weakening the trust in the entire ecosystem of crypto. So if you look at it, those who were early entrants are still gaining, because today also Bitcoin is costing $20,000. It fell down from 39 to 20, but then it is much more than ₹1 cost at which the initial buyers must have purchased it. Those who were late entrants, they have to wait and watch. So if you look at the ban, if these are the triggers to ban it and some of the random fraud cases, then yes, it will be jumping the gun. It will not the correct thing to happen. And second thing, what is important is we should examine what is happening internationally. Why there are many countries, we all knew and talked about Singapore having the best one. EU also walking halfway towards regulating the cryptocurrencies. But now you have a strong US and Dubai coming up. You are talking about Singapore, which is talking about coming up for becoming a red carpet for Web 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, whatever will be the next version which will be coming in the market. So yes, this is a time not to go for a ban. Ban will be sort of hitting the innovations in this country very, very badly. It will result in a brain drain which has already started happening in the sector.
Of course, and we've discussed that brain drain as well. And, on one hand, of course, there are people scared after this statement. But then on the other hand, there are several highly optimistic investors as well who are saying that, one way to look at the finance minister's response is that Indian government is softening its stance on crypto as it seeks global consensus. Would you agree?
See, I'll put it this way. Looking at the past performance over a couple of months, he doesn't seem to be moving an inch. It is off on statements either in the parliament or in the media, in the press briefings or in the parliamentary committee members, but nothing concrete is coming. So either way, making a statement doesn't help. But I strongly feel ban is not the answer, and that will be a wrong step to go for. And we must come out with a regulation when we are going ahead with it. And as you rightly said, the optimistic people, the volume is 15 to 20 million people to a cost, if in rupee value, or maybe in money value, if I say it is $6 billion of investment. So it's a big amount that the people, the money is floating in this sector. So it has to be regulated, and it is speculative. If you put it as asset class, then it is with an informed decision the people are investing, and that is how it is going to work. So internationally also it's a big amount, right? So if you look at it, I think daily trade volume they say is $90 billion and the value is $1.7 trillion. So, and number of crypto exchanges is increasing. So under this scenario, India should slowly step towards a dynamic resolution. And definitely, I don't think so ban is on the horizon. No.
And my biggest takeaway from this conversation is that we definitely need regulation. And there are several experts who've been pointing out the same point. But so there has to be regulation. But before the regulation comes, there will be a consultation paper as well. How soon you think we can expect a consultation paper on cryptocurrencies?
Ideally, it should have been yesterday, right? There has been enough consultations on the issue. And to stop this confusion and what I mentioned before, the brain drain which has started happening because others are putting a red carpet, it is very important to come up with this as early as possible.
Okay, and in the end, do you think, all of such statements or a sentiment which is created at the moment, it's denting the confidence of people who believe in the tech of it, maybe blockchain, metaverse?
See, it shatters the confidence, not the tech part or their confidence in the tech part and thinking that this is a brilliant product. But then it shatters their confidence whether they want to operate in the geographical boundary of India. That is where it starts doing. And they have options now. Like if you look at Dubai, they have come up what they call VARA. That is Dubai Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. And what are they talking about in it? They say they will allow operating and managing virtual asset platform services, exchange services, national or foreign, absolutely open. Then they are talking about one or more forms of virtual assets. They are talking about transfer of services. They are talking about asset custody, management services, right? So these are the kind of portfolio they are talking about. Similarly, if you look at EU, they are talking about consumer protection and safeguards against market manipulation or financial crimes. Otherwise, they are not talking about a ban, and their regulation is focusing how they will protect the consumer in the sense better informed consumer. If you look at the US, there is a clear-cut move which is going ahead on allowing responsible innovation. And why nobody is dumping it? Because if you look at it, they are all interlinked. It is not that, okay, you can have a blockchain without the crypto. But then when you are looking at the whole thing, the metaverse, the cryptocurrency may be the separate concepts. But if you look at it, what fuels the metaverse? It is the crypto. That is where the money comes, which allows more and more innovations when you are going ahead with it. So to look at it, like several of the metaverse projects have one thing in common. They are all based on the Ethereum's blockchain technology. So there is an interconnection. So it is not easy to say, okay, we will have a wonderful blockchain and the metaverse also in future, but then, okay, it's a no-no for crypto when we are working upon it, because from where the money comes. The fueling has to come from somewhere. And now, like I said, these three countries plus Singapore also walking the way, options are available. So, yes, it is disturbing them. They want to be in geographical boundaries of India, but maybe they will have to move their headquarters elsewhere, and which is not a happy situation. India missed Web 2.0. India should not miss the future versions of Web, because it is going to be an Indian brain, but ownership may not be India. So that is something I will personally not be ever happy about, and I am very sure the tech world will also not be very happy about.
Well, on that note, that's all the time we had for this segment. But Dr. Sharma, thank you so very much for joining us for this discussion. But now on to our second discussion, which is about the Tesla update. As of the end of Q2, we have converted approximately 75% of our Bitcoin purchases into fiat currency. Conversions in Q2 added $936 million of cash to our balance sheet. This is what electric car manufacturer Tesla shared in a shareholder letter of their Q2 update. Tesla Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk said on the earnings conference call that the company sold the Bitcoin to maximize its cash position because of uncertainty related to the COVID shutdowns. He noted that the sale should not be seen as some verdict on Bitcoin. But all of this is not as simple as it looks. Elon is also an influencer in cryptoverse. Dogecoin, a meme coin most associated with Musk, gets impacted every time he tweets on it. The internet calls it the Musk effect. While there were possibilities of him owning Twitter, many expected that he would push Twitter to buy Bitcoin as a treasury asset, as he did with Tesla. And on that note, even SpaceX has invested its cash reserves in Bitcoin. It's an American spacecraft manufacturer headquartered in California and founded in 2002 by Elon Musk. But now let's discuss this. As I said, it's not as simple as it looks, because every move that Elon takes has some effect or impact on the cryptoverse. So we have our experts with us: Aniket Jindal, co-founder by Economy; Rohas Nagpal, author of the Crypto Playbook and chief blockchain architect, Hi-Fi Blockchain. Very warm welcome, gentlemen. Aniket, I want to start with you. Do you think, after all, cash matters?
I mean, a lot of people have been talking about Elon selling $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. I don't know why this is sort of becoming like a big deal. Like on a daily basis, if you look at it, like $100 billion worth of, Bitcoin is traded, right? Like this is kind of nothing, 1% of it. And along with Bitcoin, like Elon also sold his Tesla shares, right, in Q2, like just to have like more positions in Twitter. So why people are not commenting on that? Does it mean like he doesn't believe in Tesla? Like that's why he sold it? I mean, I don't think so. It becomes like a bigger deal in the bigger market and in broader spectrum. And investors nowadays are more sophisticated in terms of how they invest. Like if Elon is buying XYZ, I don't think so. Of course, like there are few people who just listen to what he does, but like if investments are just made.
So are you also of the opinion, Aniket, that as a lot of people point out, that since he tweets several cryptic things, so we should not really be taking every move or every tweet or every statement of his very seriously?
No, of course. I mean, like if this is how investors are made, probably like people would be only holding Dogecoin or some XYZ tokens. Like people should definitely use their own brains in terms of where the money is being invested and like what's the intrinsic value of any particular coin.
Rohas, what is your interpretation of this move?
Sure. So there are two things I'd like to say. One is we don't know the price at which he has sold. So we don't know whether he has booked a profit or he is cutting his losses. And another thing I'd like to say, even if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, Bitcoin was always meant to be used as electronic cash. It was never supposed to be hoarded or invested as a store of value. And I think it is very important for people to realize that. So just like you're not going to lock up 100 rupee notes inside your drawer for 10 years, you're not supposed to lock up Bitcoin and expect the value to go up. It is to be used as a medium of exchange.
But Aniket, now a lot of experts have also been pointing out that they have stated all the lockdown stories or China lockdown being given as a reason, and some experts point out that it's a mere cover up, but they are overall impacted by the global ups and downs that crypto market is going through. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not only crypto, it's sort of related with everything happening in this industry. Like if you look at iron, steel, macro, or anything else like Netflix, etc., everything has been sort of correlated to a certain extent. With crypto, definitely, I mean, not only like these, bad announcements, there's a lot of good developments also happening. I mean, Ethereum sort of announced its merge. That's going to be happening in September. that was sort of pending for last several years. So on the development side of things have been fairly positive. And if you see like the Ethereum community or the developer community, people are like not moved by it. Like people don't care much about the prices. People are in for the technology, and I'm pretty much sure in the next several months, a lot of important developments going to be happening in the ecosystem. Not sure much about the prices, like how it's going to react, but in terms of development, there's definitely like lot pending in the next several months.
But Aniket, as you point out that it's not only with crypto but other markets as well, and Tesla has also said they've had a tough second quarter. Are warning bells ringing for crypto or let's say global economy? Because I also read some pieces which also talked about the upcoming recession. Of course, there's a lot of conversation around that as well. So, do you think there are warning bells for crypto or global economy?
So crypto projects are, good projects are decently well funded right now. So I don't see, of course, there'll be like downturn because things were overvalued and still are. But projects who are there for long term have decent cash flows. Like decent revenues, decent treasury also that can make them sustainable for the next several years. So I don't think so. Big projects will be that much moved by it. Of course, there'll be like downturn in terms of the price movements, but like it's nothing to worry about.
Sure, that's all the time that we had on this segment. Thank you, gentlemen. But Rohas, be with us as there are a few questions that you have to answer in our second segment, that is MCQ. Keep watching Coffee and Crypto. Coffee and Crypto, one-stop destination that gives you a high on crypto. Now, this is MCQ, a segment specially designed for you. It's called My Crypto Queries, where we answer your queries. We have with us Rohas Nagpal, Chief Blockchain Architect, Hi-Fi Blockchain. Ronak's question: Elon sold Bitcoin. Do you think other major companies will also do the same?
Yes, I definitely think they would, because many of them will book profits and many are going to cut their losses. So yes, I do expect a lot of them to sell.
Okay. Sheikh Zishan asks, I want to understand crypto Bitcoin. Suggest a book. This is a very unique question that I found.
So I've written the free crypto playbook. You can please go to my site and download that. If you want to learn from a financial point, if you want to understand the tech, then I run the free blockchain developer course, and you can do that. I think both will help you.
That was quite a subtle plug, yeah, Rohas, I must say.
Both are free, but
sure. And last question we have from Gulami Raza. He asked lowest price for crypto.
Sure. So Bitcoin's first transaction was, I think, 10,000 Bitcoin for one pizza. And when it was listed and available, there was 1,500 Bitcoin for $1. So that was the lowest price ever. That's what Bitcoin started.
Well, thank you so very much, Rohas, for joining us for this segment. This is MCQ, but you can also send in your queries on our social media platforms for next week. I'm Arun saying it's goodbye from my side. I'll be back next Friday at 6:30 p.m. on NDTV. Bye.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.